Hello there, I'm J.Henderson. I was known as J Fisher-esque. Well, today I'd like to show you one of my own games. This was played in the Fareham Club Championship Decider, season 2008-2009. My opponent was Joe Coburn. So this was the final game, the last game of the season, so a lot was riding on it. If I won this, I'd be declared the champion. Obviously if Joe won it, he'd be declared the champion. Joe had white and he started with e4. c5 for myself, Sicilian. Knight f3, d6, d4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, knight f6, knight c3, and a6. Standard mainline Sicilian Najdorf. No problem with that. And then Joe played this move, f3. And I thought, hang on a minute, I've never seen this before. And I didn't like it because it threatens g4 and h4, a quick kingside storm against an uncastled black king, and I was going to be game over. Anyway, I thought for a little while and thought, no, I'm okay, providing I keep developing sound principles. So knight c6 for myself, which obviously threatens the strong knight on d4, and Joe played knight b3, e6, bishop e3 from Joe, another excellent move, bishop e7, queen d2. So far everything is going Joe's way. He's threatening alongside castling, again with this pawn side storm, so I wasn't feeling that happy, no. So I castle, and here comes the storm. h4, queen c7 from myself, alongside castling from Joe, excellent move. So how do I generate some counterplay? I was thinking about knight e5 followed by knight c4, but that takes two moves, and I may not have two moves. So in this line of the Najdorf, the best form of defence is to counter-attack, and I played b5. And I was secretly worried about him playing bishop takes b5, because then the knight jumps into b5, aka Tau. It doesn't look good for black from that on in. But Joe had his own ideas and he just plays g4. Simple, strong and effective. Bishop b7 from myself, bishop e2, and now you can see Joe's plan. The rook on d is going to swing across to g. He's going to force through these two pawns and smash open my king. Rook on a to d8 from myself. As I've said in other videos, it's always a good idea to line up your rook with the enemy queen. You never know when a pawn bush is going to come in handy, because the pawn will then be pinned against the queen. So that was my feeling. It's a good development move, and so far it's the best I had. So we have rook d to g1 from Joe, excellent move. As you can see, the pawn storm is beckoning. Rook on f to e8, tough choice, but I need to have all my pieces developed if I'm going to sort of conjure up some sort of defence, because if I don't, then the pawns keep advancing and eventually they're going to break through and smash open my king. So h5 from Joe, and as you can see, the pawn storm is coming. If I play h6 here, then even possibly maybe bishop takes h6 followed by queen takes h6, and that's not good. So I'll show you what I mean. If I play h6 here, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, the king obviously can't move here. If I try and play rook on f8, then the simple effective either bishop d3 or even g5, and basically black is busted and there's nothing he can do to stop the attack. So that was obviously Joe's idea of playing h5, but I had a rude awakening for him after playing h5. I thought about this for a long time because it's incredibly risky, but as I said before, in the Sicilian, counter-attack is everything. If you just sit there and defend, you will get crushed. So I play d5, and it's very, very strong, because if the pawn takes pawn, you can see that this rook is now lined up against white's queen, and that was my thinking. Joe seemed relatively shocked by this because I don't think he was expecting it. So simply pawn takes pawn, and as you can see, all the aces seem to be hanging in white's favour. However, there was a surprise for Joe, and it's this: knight b4, and as you can see, the pawn can no longer move because of rook takes queen. So everything was hanging on this move. So I had to calculate it extremely long, bearing in mind we didn't have all the time in the world, but I knew this was coming. So we have g5 from Joe, again still going through this major plan, which is to push his pawns forward and smash open my king. So we have knight takes d5. So all my pieces are gradually moving over towards the white king. However, it's leaving my own king well and truly exposed. So Joe fought for a little while, but I don't think he realised the danger so much, and he just plays a simple king b1, which is protecting the pawn on a2. So this knight is now free to take without an attack coming through on a2. So I get rid of this very dark, dangerous dark square bishop. Knight takes e3, queen takes e3, and you can see that there are threats now of bishop c5 lining up against the rook on g1 and of course the queen. But I need this bishop, this knight here on b3 to move first. So we have knight d5 from myself. Good strong attacking move. The queen is forced to move again, or one of the key defenders of white is forced to take. So knight takes d5 from Joe, and the simple but effective bishop takes d5. And I'd say now that the chances were at least level, if not slightly better for me, because whichever way Joe now advances, I've got the dark squared bishop. So for instance, if h6, I can just simply play g6. If g6, then I can now play h6, and I've got no worries about a sacrifice on h6. So I'm feeling reasonably secure now. We have a good move from Joe, rook h3, which now allows this bishop on e2 to move. It supports the pawn on f3, and possibly doubling up on the g file against my my king. So how do I make use of the space I do have? And I think, right, this is it. Bishop takes b3. And you can now see that this skewer on c5 is the killer. And I was expecting Joe to play queen takes b3 here, but I don't think he really truly recognised the danger, because he was still looking over at his pawns. I was watching his eyes. He was looking at these pawns on these threatening pawns on g5 and h5, and his eyes were set on them, followed possibly up with f4, and so he took his eye off the ball, if you like. So he plays a takes bishop, and now of course the killer skewer, bishop c5. So advantage to me. That was my thinking. If Joe plays the obscure but sound, well, unsound as it turns out, bishop queen c3, which pins the bishop and of course threatens his own b4 push, then we have this, which is b4. It's a good move, that. So queen c4 is near enough force now, and now I can play simple but effective. Can you see it? Queen a5, which still threatens the rook on on g1, and also threatens to smash through with the rook on d and e. So that was my thinking about it, and also possibly even rook e5, because there's a nice little sequence of events here. If queen takes, and queen takes, bishop takes, and the simple bishop takes g1 wins. So that was my thinking. I had to work this all out over the board, bearing in mind we didn't have all the time in the world. So I thought queen c3 would be a mistake. So of course maybe Joe saw that as well, and he plays queen c1, which is the correct move. So bishop takes, queen takes. So what is the way for me to carry on with this game? Provided I don't make any mistakes, I'm materially up now. I've got the queen and 2 rooks versus queen, rook and bishop. However, Joe has very dangerous pawns on g5 and h5. So I was thinking about rook d2 here, but that is simply riposted by, of course, bishop. And the rook will come under attack from the white queen, and I'll probably lose it anyway, so that was a mistake. So I actually played the more powerful rook c8, which now threatens to double up on c2. It allows this rook to finally get into the game on the d file, so I've got a very powerful file here. So Joe plays the natural and strong bishop d3. He's gambling that these pawns are going to smash open my king, and I'm gambling that they won't. So it's all or nothing. However, a bit of cowardice fell in on my part here. So it may not be the best move, but I play queen c5, offering an exchange of queens, because I thought if I can get that queen off, then my rook's going to swing across and I had no more to fear. So I thought, that was my thinking. Joe of course plays queen g2. He doesn't want an exchange of queens. He's got his hopes pinned on a direct attack against my king. So black to play. I thought for a long time about advancing the A side pawn, but I thought it was too slow. I didn't want to go in for passive defence, so active defence it is. So I play rook on ed8. So slowly but surely this game is beginning to turn in my favour. All my pieces are now lined up, excellently placed, ready for a counter-attack, because Joe obviously was pinned his hopes on this move, g6, and of course eventually these pawns will come through. The rook will go in front of the queen may even jump into g4 with the rook behind it, etc. But I don't think Joe was expecting this, and this is the killer move. Can you see it? Black to play and win. Count to 5. Well, it's this. Rook takes d3. Absolutely pulverising. And Joe was visibly shocked because he didn't expect this. I've given back the material, however, you can see why in a second. So we have obviously g takes f7 check. So this is basically Joe's. He's pinned his hopes on this move. So he was obviously expecting me to play king f8 here, but I thought no, there's no way he can break through. So I simply take the pawn. King takes f7, and I'm still threatening check with a winning attack, because as you can see, the rook on h3 can no longer defend the weak pawn on c2 or the back rank. That is the key. So this must be taken. Pawn takes rook, and now the simple but effective queen c1 check. King a2 forced, and now, as I put in my memoirs, rook c2, the coup de grace, because there's no way, apart from sacrificing the queen, that Joe can survive. So whatever he plays, the game is lost. He could fight on with queen takes rook, but there isn't really a way of continuing for him. And of course mate to follow, which I actually did mate him. but I don't wish to show that because that's unnecessary. The point of it was that a kingside storm that Joe tried was very sound, it was very strong, and it required very active defence from myself to keep the game a fighting game. Anyway, I hope you like that. I hope you like the analysis as well. Joe was a good player, but I think on this day I was just slightly better. Comments and questions? See you next time. Bye bye.